Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back for the second part of our event. It's working. Now we will hear from our keynote speaker, WorkSource Montgomery Executive Director Anthony Featherstone, and to introduce him is WorkSource Montgomery's Director of Communications, Laura Moreno Davis.
Thank you, Julie. You know, this is, good morning, everyone, first of all. Thank you for coming out. It's a pleasure seeing all of you today. I think this is the first time in about 4+ years that we worked together that I've actually had the opportunity to do this. So if you'll indulge me just a little bit. From the short time that I've been out at our table meeting and greeting many of you, I think we have a handful, good number that have heard about who we are, but there are still some in the room that don't know quite, aren't familiar with WorkSource Montgomery and what we do. So we are the county's appointed workforce development agency. And when Anthony and I both first started at WorkSource in 2021, I think WSM had maybe 10 or 11 people. And today, under his leadership and his vision, we're proudly at around 120 staff members. So workforce development isn't really something that you choose as a career. A lot of times you sort of fall into it, or it chooses you, as it did me. But once you're in it, you fall in love with the mission. You're connecting people to training, resources, and opportunities that can literally change the trajectory of their lives. You're helping local businesses find incredible talent like all of you in this room today that's right here in their own backyards. But none of that is possible without someone who has innovative vision, a collaborative nature, and a genuine passion for community impact to set the tone for everything that we do back at WorkSource. He inspires us every time, he inspires everyone around him to think bigger, do better, and help everyone that comes through our doors or comes to us to move closer to finding that right opportunity and moving towards economic mobility. So none of that, well, honestly, anytime we're out in the community, people either see our logo, they see our badge, they hear the name WorkSource Montgomery, and they say, oh, you work with Anthony Featherstone. Or if they don't recognize who WorkSource is and they don't know what the logo stands for, you mention his name and they nod and smile because they know him or they know of him or they've heard about the work that we do in the community. And that's the kind of presence and reputation that he's built at WSM and across the region. But he's been doing this for a little bit. He's been doing this for a little while. Anthony has more than 15 years of workforce development experience. And before joining WSM, he led workforce operations at KRA Corporation, which is a national employment and training provider. He's held leadership roles with the South Carolina Department of Employment and Workforce, and as well as Washington, D.C.'s Department of Employment and Services. He's managed large-scale workforce programs, built partnerships across states, and he's brought people and organizations together around a shared common goal, and that's helping communities connect talent with opportunity. He holds an MBA from Webster University, a BA in sociology from Coastal Carolina University, and he serves on many local and national boards that advance workforce innovation and equity. And besides all of that, he's just a down-to-earth, cool dude I happen to be proud to call my boss. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming WorkSource Montgomery's Executive Director, Mr. Anthony Featherstone.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. All right, that worked. Going good so far. I am pretty cool, right? So I don't get called a cool dude too often. So when I get it, I'll take it. Thank you, Laura. Laura's awesome as our Director of Communications, making sure that we communicate well internally and we communicate well to the public. So it's a pleasure to be here today. As Laura mentioned, I'm the executive director for your local workforce development board here in Montgomery County. We have the pleasure of making sure that our residents have access to tools to help you connect to opportunity, and we make sure that opportunity or our local businesses have connection to you, our talent pool. And so it's an honor to be here. And so thank you to Dr. Kadamian for hosting us here at the beautiful University's of Shady Grove campus. Thank you to Stacy Cantor. Everybody, let's clap for Stacy. You should see her face. She wasn't expecting that. Stacy with the Bethesda today is coordinating this, and you've done an awesome job. And so thank you so much. You are all looking at me with a look of, we are waiting to hear something profound from you today, Mr. Keynote Speaker. I don't know if I can promise you that I'll give you a bunch of profound tips, but I hope that everybody today leaves with at least one thing, whether it's a resource or it's a tip or a tool to help you in your own individual journey. And so before we get started, I'd be remiss if last but not least, I didn't say thank you. Thank you to all of you for your service. Whether you are, federal adjacent or you were a federal worker, whatever the case is, I thank you for your public service. I think you are, what makes Montgomery County and our nation such a great place. And so I don't want to, miss that. I want to say thank you all for your service. And so this will be the last time I ask this. Give yourself a hand clap, please. So if you won't clap for anything else, clap for yourself. So we'll jump right into it. I'm going to give you a little bit of labor market information. It's going to be very high level. I know we can disaggregate this data a million different ways. We're not going to do that today. I only have 20 minutes, right? So we're going to stay real high level. So it's my job today to be overly glass half full, right? And I see a lot of faces where I feel like you that resonates with you because you're overly glass half full as well, and I appreciate it. And if you're not, I'll be glass half full for you until we get you there. But you'll hear there's a tight labor market. We get questions and comments saying that, with all of the rifts and federal workers that are now in the market, are there enough jobs? There are no jobs. There aren't enough jobs for people to find another opportunity here in Montgomery County, here in the region, here in the state of Maryland. But just very high level, we look at the job posting analytics a lot. And so you'll see in the capital region, Frederick, Prince George's, Montgomery County, the district in Northern Virginia, that there were over 120,000 job postings, right? And that's everything from an ice cream scooper to a software engineer. And so you have to dive deep to make sure that there's a skills alignment. But, I wanted to mention this to follow up with what the panel says because there are jobs available, but it is a tight market. And so the way you set yourself aside is to make yourself as competitive as possible within a tight market. But within this tight market, there are still a ton of jobs out there, and the jobs are moving quickly. And so with the 20-day median posting duration, employers are posting, they're interviewing quickly, and they're hiring for these positions. And so at a very high level, for you while you're in the market, as you see it, as you're doing your job searches, there is opportunity here in Montgomery County. There is opportunity here in the region. There is opportunity here in the state of Maryland. And so I wanted to start with that. Now, who's doing the hiring, right? And so you'll see a list right here, and I know Stacy will send it out to everyone, but this is a list of the top employers right now who are hiring. Whether you want to get back into finance, if you want to get into education, if you want to get into tech, if you want to get into life sciences and so forth, I think it's important for you all to do the research yourself and fish with a fish rod, as we say. And so these are the top companies that are hiring in Montgomery County. Montgomery County Public Schools, no surprise, is always leading the charge, but companies like Capital One, MedStar, Booz Allen Hamilton, we had a lot of our panelists who are hiring. So these are the top employers in the county, and so it's very important that you do your research, and we'll talk about some of the strategies to research who's hiring so that you know where to look in the county, in the state, and in the region for opportunities. But wanted to go just a little deeper about the occupations that folks are posting for. And so here you'll see that there is a variety. We talked about software engineering with Lockheed Martin. Software developers is one of the top occupations right now that's been posted within those 127,000 jobs over the last few months. And so there's a variety here. You know, there's healthcare, there's management, there's marketing, and so forth. And so this is just a snapshot that gives a story of those 120,000 plus jobs of what employers are posting for. But I think even more importantly are the skills that employers are looking for. And so Todd mentioned that there's some words that are really universal in many of Lockheed's job postings. And so these aren't the top technical skills, but these are the top common skills that we see across the board in all of those postings. And it's really not a lot different from what was mentioned on the panel. And so employers are frequently looking for communication skills, leadership skills, problem-solving skills, critical thinking, and so forth. And so as Dr. Youssef said, you know, AI is a tool. It's not something that's going to replace you, because a lot of these soft skills that employers are looking for can't be replaced with AI. And so one thing that we're going to talk about today is how do you keep yourself sharp when it comes to all of these soft skills that you would be using day to day in the office while you're in your journey to find your next opportunity. And so this is something that we look at all the time, because we want to know what's really important to our local business community when it comes to the common skills, or the soft skills, essential skills, professional skills, whatever we may call it, when it comes to the postings that we go through where we try to connect talent and opportunity. Getting into some tips. We're going to give 5 tips today when it comes to your job search journey. Anybody surprised that Embrace AI or AI in general is number one? Everybody in the room has as many assistants as you would like to help you out with your journey. It just depends on how you decide to utilize artificial intelligence as a tool, as a resource, as you look for your next opportunity. And so, Michelle, I'm going to put you on the spot. Anytime you talk to somebody before they speak, you can plan on getting put on the spot. I think we talked about it, you said that AI won't replace people, but the people that know how to use AI effectively will replace you. And so our number one tip and tool is to please embrace AI. Embrace it ethically, embrace it responsibly. But as you are doing your search for your next opportunity, there's a lot of amazing tools that are out there. And so we're going to talk a lot about Google tools, and in no way, shape, or form am I marketing or advertising any of the tools here, but these are the tools that we use as a workforce organization that we have found to be effective. And Google Career Dreamer, anybody heard of that? Raise your hand if you've heard of Career Dreamer. Do you like it? Thumbs up, thumbs down? It's okay, it's okay. So Google Career Dreamer, we think, is an effective tool to help you out with your search manager. It's what they call a fun, interactive way to put in quickly, easily, seamlessly, what you've done at the federal level, what type of responsibilities that you had within your last position. And then it, kind of gives you a profile of other opportunities that are out there for you. And it actually connects you to those opportunities real time, so you can put in a quality application and move about your journey. And so, as you're trying to figure out, what's my next step? Do I want to stay here? Do I want to move there? How does, what I did in the federal government or as a federal contractor, how does it relate to the private sector? I encourage everybody here to check out Google Career Dreamer and let it help you when it comes to your search management. No surprise that we have to talk about resume customization, whether you're putting together a new federal resume, whether you are trying to translate your federal resume to a more compact private sector resume, or you're just pivoting from a job to job standpoint, because application tracking systems are a real thing. You want to make sure that you're not doing it how we did it 15 years ago, where you're sitting at your computer and you're tapping out and typing out new resumes and trying to update it on your own. And so Resi is a cool tool that we utilize, but there are a million tools out there. And so as you look to make your transition, utilize AI platforms and tools that are out there to help you kind of streamline the resume development and resume customization process. Anybody get nervous when you have an interview? It doesn't matter if you've got 30, 40 years experience, multiple PhDs, or you're on the other end of the spectrum. Sometimes you just get nervous when it comes to the interview process. There are a ton of resources and tools out there when it comes to interview prep. Google also has another tool, which is called Interview Warm-Up by Google. Anybody ever used this tool? I'm looking at my lady in the back right there. I don't think she's used it. So if you've never heard of this tool or used this tool, you can do a lot of resume prep with this system when it comes to what are the common questions that you may be asked when it comes to applying to be a software developer. And you can actually real-time practice your interviews, and it'll tell you, are there too many ums and so forth in your response? Are you using the same word too many times? It'll analyze your response and give you a little bit of feedback and help ease that anxiety as you can, just practice your interviewing skills. And the good thing about, I think, AI, it doesn't take anything personal. There's going to be no, attacks. You can't offend it and so forth. It's going to give you objective feedback. And so I encourage everybody to practice your interviewing skills, because a lot of what sets you apart is how you communicate and how you communicate with confidence. And so this is a great tool, Interview Warm-Up by Google. And then, last but not least, I use it every day, ChatGPT. So whether you are, I like that. Whether you're using it for, researching the company, looking up data, looking up labor market information, or whatever the case may be, developing a strategy for your job search, or looking up community resources that may be available to you, you're not alone. So utilize these AI resources when it comes to your journey. Tip number 2, brand yourself well. Branding. I think this is the most important aspect to finding a new opportunity, and especially with you all who have done so much, have so much education, so much experience, and so much to offer in the marketplace. And so I'm going to skip resume development because that is preaching to the choir, and I'm going to go right to storytelling. So you have all of this education, you have all of this experience, you have so much to offer. Can you tell a story about it? And that's what sets you apart. Can you say what you've done, the value that you add, and where you want to go, and how you're going to get there, and what you can offer to a prospective employer? And can you say it in a cogent manner that tells a story that resonates with the person that you're talking to, whether you're at a networking event today or whether you're in an interview? And so that's a skill that I think we all need to consistently practice, whether it's in a mirror, whether it's with a friend, whether it's with interview prep. But you have to make sure that you know your story, you know your why as well, and you can put it all into a straight line, and you can kind of fire whenever you're asked for that story. And so storytelling is so important. Networking. It's really important that you build intentional and organic relationships. I commend you all for being in the room today, because this is networking. And so I hope you all talk to as many people as you can and build relationships, and follow up on those conversations, because you never know the degrees of separation or where that conversation may end based on, just asking someone what their name is today as a starter. And so networking is really key. From networking, what do people usually do? Or what do I usually do? After I meet you, Dr. Youssef, I want to connect with you on LinkedIn. And this is filling, maybe not fact for everyone, but I think building your brand when it comes to a variety of different aspects, but really from a social media aspect today, LinkedIn really matters. And so once you make those connections, what does your headshot look like? And if you don't like to take pictures like me, do an AI headshot. And so if you've seen any of our reports or our website, I have an AI headshot, so I'm sorry to disappoint you today. Because it's accurate, but I think it looks better than me in real life. And so, what does your headshot look like? What is your tagline? So a lot of times on LinkedIn, you say, LinkedIn, tagline, Executive Director of Worksource Montgomery. I'm guilty of it, right? But is that who you are? And so I would encourage everybody to take a look at your LinkedIn profile and take a look at your tagline. Is your tagline that you are a financial analyst, or is your tagline so much more? And so think of that. Think of that, one sentence, three, four word tagline of who you are, and then you can get into your experience and your position. And so what are you posting? What are you liking? and so forth. And so building that social media presence on LinkedIn and just being real thoughtful about your approach is key. And so we're not going to deep dive into all the best practices. I'm going to tell you, environments that you can get into where you can deep dive into those best practices. We're going to stay high level today, but definitely social media is a key to your personal branding. And then I think with anything, just being consistent. After you meet people today, don't let those conversations just die. When you connect with them on LinkedIn, don't let it just fall by the wayside. Follow up at a good frequency. But be consistent in what you're doing from a branding standpoint. Be consistent in what you're doing from a relational standpoint. And I think that's really key in personal branding, is making sure that you are branding yourself as a consistent individual that does thoughtful things and provides a level of subject matter expertise in whatever field that you're in when it comes to a social media standpoint. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, while you're in this period of transition, whatever your educational level is, I think you can always work to enhance your skills. And so professional development. There's a lot of opportunities when it comes to professional development. University of Shady Groves offers, opportunities, Montgomery College, WorkSource Montgomery, or whatever the case may be. But those soft skills that are so critical that you deploy each and every day in the office, in the workforce, you want to make sure that you're staying on the cutting edge when it comes to all of those skills that employers want so much, that are showing up in all of their job descriptions. And so we'll talk more about workshops and things that are offered here in Montgomery County that you can jump into if you'd like. Skills trainings. University of Shady Grove has awesome opportunities for skills enhancements. Montgomery College, there's Coursera, there's LinkedIn, there's Skill Up Montgomery, our virtual training center here in Montgomery County. And so whether you want to try to get your PMP to take yourself to the next level, or you want to sharpen your skills in Adobe InDesign or another professional skill, seek out opportunities to just learn new things and learn things that are relevant to your career pathway. And there's a lot of opportunities available, and we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. Mentorship. Mentorship is so critical. I was talking to Dr. Kadamian about the awesome mentorship program that we have here at USG. But I think you should tap into your network, your social capital matrix. Tap into your mentors that don't even know that they are mentors for you. And so if nothing else, it'll be a training in self-confidence. I don't know a mentor that gives me good advice that I don't walk away feeling better than I did walking into that conversation. And so while you're in this period of transition, tap into the people that just give you good advice. And I'm going to call those people your mentors, whether they raise their hand and say, I am your mentor or not. But I think tapping into positive energy that helps you build your confidence, because job searching is tough. Job searching is tough. So make sure you tap into that network of mentorship that can give you real-world insights, that grow beyond formal training, but really help you boost your confidence. And that's what mentorship always does for me. And so this may not be practical for everyone, but if you have an opportunity to give back while you are in this period of transition and do some volunteerism, that's an awesome opportunity to lead teams, to communicate, to troubleshoot on the fly as you're volunteering with a local nonprofit or whoever you're volunteering with. And so if that's something that you're passionate about, I recommend that you volunteer, because you'll be able to keep those muscles sharp, those professional skills muscles sharp through volunteerism. Tip number 4, utilize resources that are available to you. A lot of what was said today mentions that you're not alone. I think it was Aaron that said it, that there are resources to help you out. And so in front of you, you see a lot of the resources and the brands and the organizations that are here to support you. Mobilize Montgomery is a coalition of partners, whether it's educational partners, county government, economic development, workforce development, chambers, which are our local business community, has come together to develop a website, mobilize-montgomery.com, to make sure that all of the resources, whether it's federal, state, local, or private, are available under one roof, under one website. And so you can go to mobilize-montgomery.com and you can see all of those resources that are available to you, from the Federal Workforce Career Center to support through a lot of our congressional representatives. And so please visit that website just to peruse it and see if it's anything that piques your interest. Maryland Department of Labor has a lot of outstanding resources, whether it pertains to basic needs and income support through unemployment insurance or the federal worker loan that they have deployed right now. So check out their website and the resources that they have available. WorkSourceMontgomery.com, we'll talk about some of our resources that are available. And then last but not least, Montgomery County Economic Development Corporation. If you are a small business owner or looking to start a business here in Montgomery County, they have awesome resources that are available to you. And so tip number 4 is to utilize the resources that are at your disposal. Tap into those resources and hold those resources accountable because they are built, they are structured to serve you. So Mobilize Montgomery, I mentioned that coalition of partners. We got together in February or March just to figure out how can we help, how can we support as a county. And so the first thing that we figured out is we need to call ourselves something. We need to give the gang a name, and that was Mobilize Montgomery. The second thing that we figured out was that we want to streamline the mode of communication when it comes to all of these different websites and resources that are available, because that can be exhausting. It can be a lot of fatigue when it comes to trying to figure out what's available to you. And so we said we want to do that for you. But once we did it, we realized that there was a lot of need to talk to a real person to figure out, based on what I've done, what I want to do, how do I chart a course to achieving those goals. And there's no substitute for talking to a real person that's relatable, that's qualified, and that can add value to your time and to your life. And so what we did was we worked together as a coalition and we stood up the Federal Workforce Career Center. And so the FWCC, as we call it, is a place and space for you. And so anybody ever heard of the Federal Workforce Career Center? All right, a few people. That's good. Ann, I know you did. So this is a space where if you just need some support when it comes to figuring out how to chart a path, you need help with, talking through your resume, your skills, how it translates to another, level of government or the private sector. You want to start a business and you don't know what resources are available to you, or you just need help finding a job. The Federal Workforce Career Center is built for you to offer a level of services to help you find your next opportunity. A staff of real people who are qualified, who are former federal workers, the majority of them themselves who want to give back to their colleagues in federal service. And so there are a lot of benefits that are offered and services that are offered through the FWCC. Number one is unemployment support. And so we don't provide unemployment direct support. That's a function of our state labor agency, Maryland Department of Labor. But we have staff that come to the center every Tuesday and Thursday and Friday, so that if you want to file a claim or if you have a question about your claim and you're not getting through on the phone and the websites, a little janky, I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying that. Come see a real person that has to look you in the eye and has to provide remediation for whatever your issue or challenge is with your claim. Number two, we have a ton of workshops that we're offering when it comes to just job search strategies and tips and so forth. We also focus on the wellness side of the house, because job searching is hard, it's tough. It's tough on your mental health, it's tough on your mental wellness and so forth. And so we focus on the technical aspects of putting your best foot forward, but we also focus on the mental, psychological safety aspects of job searching. Job placement support, anything that we do as a workforce organization has to lead to you finding employment. And so we have a job platform, the Maryland Workforce Exchange. Anybody ever heard of that? This is the only audience where you all have said yes, so that excites me. So the Maryland Workforce Exchange is our job platform where thousands of employers are putting jobs in, and we have thousands of residents that are putting their resumes in, and each are able to do searches. And so take a look at it. You do have to register, and you can utilize it to tap into data. You can utilize it to connect to employers and apply it to jobs and a lot of other different resources. So that's a platform that's available to you all. Skill Up Montgomery is a virtual training center that's available to every Montgomery County resident. And so if you want to do professional training from a self-paced, self-learning standpoint, or if you want to get a certification like your PMP, you can access those services without talking to any individual within our job centers. And so if it's a certification program, you can have a voucher remitted for you so that you can take your PMP exam or your Security Plus or whatever certification program you're jumping into without actually talking to anybody and just talking and interacting with the system. So, take a look at that. We offer job fairs, typically really monthly. We do a big quarterly job fair, but we really do events monthly. And so if you want to learn about networking events where employers are going to be there looking to fill certain positions, check out our website, worksourcemontgomery.com. Look at our calendar and register for any event, any workshop, any job fair that you may want to participate in. And then we talked about, just AI utilization. But the crux of what we're doing in the job center is we're asking a simple question: how can we help? And that's the career coaching process, and that's how it starts. And then we can figure out how to develop a customized plan for you. And so some plans may be more intensive, some plans may be just geared towards I'm here if you need me. You may never need me, but we want you to know that the phone will always be picked up if you need to call us. Last but not least, I'm doing great on time, Stacy, right, is wellness. I mentioned that, we just don't, hammer on the topics of, you have to have your resume right. You have to, have a good cover letter. You have to know how to, communicate. Let's talk about critical thinking. Let's talk about, problem solving, team building, and so forth. We also focus a lot on you as the whole person, because job searching and being in the market is really tough, especially when it's unexpected. And I'll go out on a limb, and when you've done everything correct from an educational and employment standpoint, we know that it's very, very tough. And so we encourage everyone, and we're not fitness coaches, right? That's not what we do, but we make sure that the whole person is a part of the conversations that we have. And so what does your nutrition look like? Can we connect you to resources that can help you out with that aspect? What is your physical activity like so that you're at your optimal or working towards your optimal, physical state, because that does matter when it comes to mental clarity as well. Mental wellness. We are not mental health clinicians, but we know mental health clinicians, and we can connect you to, workshops that touch on it from a light level, or, one-on-one sessions that really dive deep with professionals. It's stressful. So are you getting your rest and sleep? And so, we want to get to know you as a person, as a whole individual, and we want to make sure that we're here for you and can advise or open to talk about these topics that lead to health and wellness. And then, last but not least, and this was really intentional, I talked to an individual, and this was in March, who was coming out of NIH and had done some awesome things, and quite frankly, things that I didn't really understand because they were very, very technical, but I knew they were awesome just by the passion, enthusiasm, and just how much she knew about what she's done. I almost failed every science class in high school and college. That's why I'm a workforce director and not a scientist. But the question was, with all my education, with all of my experience, what value do I have in the market? And so when it comes to a wellness standpoint, sometimes we can question, what's my unique value proposition after you've done everything right, after you are extremely qualified, but you are in the market, and the market is tough, it's tight, and you're getting no's, or you're getting no responses at times, or you're having networking moments and it just doesn't click because the story just doesn't click every time. You can question your unique value proposition. And so we have a lot of conversations to make sure that you know that you offer something that nobody else can offer. Other people may have multiple degrees just like you, but when we develop your story and we talk about your unique value proposition, we want you to maintain that confidence, because that confidence in networking, that confidence in knowing that you offer something that no one else but you can offer is, I think, what can set you apart. And so we are here and happy to provide support as an organization. Amanda Rosenblum is upstairs in the gallery to take any questions, to connect you to resources. But I just want to let you know that you can offer something that no one else can offer, and you have so much value in the market. And I don't want you to ever forget that, as tough as it may get. And so we're here to support you in that journey. So thank you to Bethesda today. Thank you, USG. Thank you to everybody else I'm going to forget to thank. But I appreciate you all. I appreciate everything you do, and it's been an honor to talk to you today, and looking forward to hanging around and chatting. So thank you so much. Oh, make sure you like, click, and subscribe. That's the best way to keep in contact with us. I did my job, right? All right.
Well, thank you, Director Featherstone. I found that really informative, and I hope you will all come away with a lot of good tips and strategies for your job search and where you may be headed next. That concludes this morning's session on the future of work in Montgomery County. I believe we still have our resource fair and headshots available upstairs, so please take advantage of that while you can. And I hope that this session leaves you inspired and ready to explore new career options, whether they be in health and life sciences, technology and engineering, another field that suits your interests. So thank you for coming.